Oh, good evening and welcome to another stream here at Go Race Promotions on Twitch. My name is Matt Nippers, riding solo again tonight as we bring you the season conclusion to AK Racing's V8 Supercars season, at least for a couple of weeks before we get back into it for another new season of AK Racing. We're here at Adelaide. It is going to be a brutal night of racing, 78 laps. Face our drivers tonight, and I think it's going to be an absolute, it's going to be a bloodbath, let's be honest. Turn 8, first chicane, there is basically no margin for error. We all know Adelaide Street Circuit. It is a tough track to get right, even for one lap, let alone 78 laps. But well, we're going to bring you the action, and hopefully all the drivers get through relatively unscathed. They're just running through the last few minutes of their free practice session before we jump over to qualifying. Currently on top, it is Matt Cotter at the 1:21.847, and he is just ahead of Tyler Craig and Peter Reid. And the man we're currently chasing right now, just doing a purple in the final sector, so that is pretty good. Promising signs for Ferguson, as he gets the tail end hat wagging on the Nissan Altima. So far, we've got 14 drivers in the server, but we still have about half an hour before we get into qualifying, so I'm sure we'll have more drivers jump in. We will try and give you guys a bit of a clue as to what this track looks like from a driver's perspective. Let's see if I can find someone who's just about to start a lap. Here we go, Steve Marsden, perfectly timed. We're going to go for a ride around this epic circuit. I'm going to give you the full view of this circuit instead of just a tiny little window. Alright, here we go, around the final corner, get the power down nicely to start the lap as we head up to the first chicane. It's going to be a tough ask getting this right for 78 laps. That tyre barrier has been apparently causing a lot of issue for drivers. Now you've got to get the power down nicely for turn 3, so some drivers are short shifting between 2 and 3. Others are just using throttle modulation. Now up towards Wakefield Street and into the staircase. 90-degree right-hander, followed by a 90-degree left-hander, and then another 90-degree right-hander, followed by another 90-degree right-hander, before we come on to that infamous long back straight and the deadly turn 8. Need a car that will get the power down nicely, but still rotate in order to get a quick lap time as we head down towards the notorious turn 8, the intimidating turn 8. Get as close as you dare to the inside wall. Marsden being a little bit conservative on the exit, and now into turn 9, hard on the brakes. This is the hardest braking point on the entire circuit. Try and slow the car down from roughly 240 kilometers per hour to just about around about 60, 70 kilometers per hour. And through turn 10 and 11 we go. Up towards the final 2 corners. See a few lines here. Some drivers will slap that curb on the inside. Either way, you've got to get it slowed down and, well, settled and then slowed down for that final hairpin. And again, powered down, no wheel spin, crossing the line, and we should be completing a lap in around about minute 22. That was not a bad lap for Marsden, as he stays in 8th position. Let's bring my wonderful face back. How are we all travelling out there in chat? We nice and excited for another night of sim racing after a big weekend of racing up at Northern Territory, and of course we got MotoGP at the Session Ring and F1 at Montreal. Oh, that's a bin from Steve Marsden. So quite a bit of racing on this weekend. Also had the Australian Superbikes on at Hidden Valley. That was pretty cool. And several other categories as well. I think the S5000s were out on track as well. Great to see. I think they got into the double digits this time. A bit of a disappointing turnout for those guys at Eastern Creek, but nonetheless, those cars are quite exciting. Hope the S5000s do take off eventually. Here's a guy we haven't seen for ages, Daniel Cicluna, out there in the Haviline Mustang. Seen him for a very long time actually on this channel. Not sure what he's been up to, but Great to see him out there circulating to round off the season with the V8 Supercars. Ooh, that was a bit wild, but he manages to keep it out of the fence. I thought for sure he was going to end up in the fence. Oh, he does find the fence eventually. But that one was on purpose. It doesn't count. Right. Let's go for a little fly around this circuit and see what we can find. Any Easter eggs around here? I think our drivers have all pulled up for drivers' briefings. So that's convenient for us. We can hunt around. The only thing better than hunting for Easter eggs on the cars is hunting for Easter eggs around the track maps. Let's see, nothing really to see. Oh look, we got one. We got a cherry picker here. He's got a great view. That's don't know why the in-game camera isn't on this angle. This is beautiful. Oh well. Oh well, maybe one day I'll learn how to make my own custom cameras. I have no idea what I'm doing in that regard. Oh, we got a safety team there. They're going to have a bit of a tough time accessing the track. There's no access points anywhere. It's less than ideal. We should start a prediction for turn 8. How many people are we going to see find the fence here? I think we'd see about 20 people find the fence here, I reckon. It's a deadly corner. This ball. I really do think that to make this track a little bit safer, they should be moving this steel barrier back a little bit. Give a little bit of space to use that curb a little bit. I don't know. I'm just a race driver. I always ask for more room, just so I can take it and abuse it. Great to see Callison also back in on track tonight. Haven't seen Callison for a while. I'm trying to remember when we last saw Callison in the series. I'm going to have to go to the AK Discord. Actually, trying to think where the last time was that we saw Callison make an appearance. I want to say it was Simmons Plains or Sandown? Maybe Bub. No. I want to guess it was Simmons Plains that we last saw Callison make an appearance. But great to see Callison back in the server and racing tonight. Hopefully get a few more people out on track tonight, jumping into the server. Speaking of Discords, actually, if you're interested in getting involved with the AK Racing, you can jump into their Discord here. There is a link right there. And yeah, you can enter for the next round of V8 Supercars. Let's have a look. Season 2 of 2022. Start at Pukekohe, then we go to Townsville, the Bend, Calder Park, the Gold Coast Street Circuit, Oran Park. Rest in peace, Oran Park. Then we have Newcastle, Bathurst Super Sprint. Then we go to Donington, and then Sydney Motorsport Park with a night race to end off that season. And we also have the Bathurst 1000 on the 9th and 10th of the 7th. Which month is that? Actually, that's next month. Never mind. So we will have Bathurst 1000 after this event. Just find it. Let's see. 9th and 10th. So that's about, what, 2 weeks? Yeah, 2 weeks away. 3 weeks away, I should say. That's pretty cool. Very cool to see the 1000 as we have lost connection to the server. Good to know. So that means we're just going to have a little break while we get the server started up for, is it qualifying? We shouldn't be going into qualifying just yet. It's only 20 to 7 where I am. bit of a shout out to anyone in chat. Shout out where you're joining us tonight. Love knowing how far these streams actually make and make it around the world. How many international viewers we get? I think the furthest we've had was somewhere in England. Trying to think who it was. I think it was Solo P1. I haven't seen him for a while. We miss you, Solo, wherever you are. Should be off making myself a cup of coffee, actually. It's been a long day for me. Just hearing all this little crunching. It's definitely coming from my bird. I've no idea what he's crunching though. He's tucked away in his bed. He's had enough of my nonsense already. We've only just started streaming. He's had enough of me already. Good start to the evening. What was everyone's thoughts on the V8 Supercar racing today? Oh, that reminds me actually. Shout out to Cat091 for the off-stream follow. It's much appreciated. That brings us to 446 followers here on Twitch. Might also just jump over to YouTube and just check how many subscribers we've got over there. I'll say hello, YouTube. Actually, remember to hit record this time. If I can just remember how to access my channel. Here we go. How many have we got? 120 subscribers on YouTube. Head over to Go Race Promotions on YouTube if you want to give me a little bit of support there. We upload all of our streams there. Maybe trying to work on a documentary series as well for the Superbike as well. If you like to see build series, that'd be pretty cool. I do apologise for the break in the on-track action. Unfortunately, we have no server at the moment. So, yeah, it's just going to take a little while. Hopefully we will be back into the on-track action soon. Should be back into it sooner rather than later. One lap. Oh, okay, there we go. So we're down to a one lap shootout for qualifying. So that'll make things a little bit quicker. And we can get into the racing much sooner as well. Thanks for letting me know, Tyler. Tyler Craig there, one of the drivers tonight. Giving me all the inside goss as to what's going on track. should have gone and made myself a cup of coffee. Damn. Didn't think that through. Oh well. Shithead is now scrapped. Okay. This is a dynamic night of racing playing out right now. No, it's not last minute changes, Tyler. It's dynamic schedule. There we go. See how I did that? That's a little bit of wordplay in there. It's good. Will be entertaining, yeah, for sure. As I said at the top of the program, 78 laps around the Adelaide street circuit. It's tough doing just one. Zero margin for error. Absolute maximum concentration all the time. In cars that require maximum concentration and maximum discipline. Yeah, it's going to be pretty brutal for the drivers tonight. Oh, okay. There you go. Alphabetical order, 1 out lap, 1 hot lap. That's, yeah, a lot. Hmm. How are we all chilling out there? No one really answered me when the first time I asked. Nice cruisy Sunday afternoon. Nice cruisy Sunday morning. Maybe went to church. Maybe you didn't go to church. I don't know. If you go that way, I don't know. Here we go. We do have a server now. Let's jump in and get ready for some qualifying. And then we will also get rid of my face off the stream and can bring you the action. It's out the window because we had more people join again. Oh no. I did say we'll probably get a few more people jumping in on the 11th hour. That's for sure. Hopefully they've done some practice. Okay, so who do we think will be? I think the two Terratech Nissans are lining up. Oh, Maffey out with the Rona. No way, mate. Wait a second. Oh, look at this. Everyone's lining up at the end of pit lane, so we are waiting for that clock to hit 12 minutes to go. And then everyone will be unleashed onto the circuit. So we have a few more people entering the server, so we have 15 drivers now. Chris Munro back into the server, that's good. That's every single stream he has made it this week. That's great to see. As Here we go, green light on, and the whole field starts to streak out, led away by Ferguson and Marsden in the two TerraTech Nissans. Oh, look at this mad dash out of pit lane. Oh, look at this, everyone's into the server now. It's good to see. Interestingly, for Callison, out there on the soft tyres, everyone else pretty well on the super softs. Matthew tried to practice earlier but couldn't sit in it for even an hour. Yeah, mate. Rona seems to be a bit of a lucky dip prize, isn't it? Don't know what you're going to get. So I had the dreaded Rona boy, and all I had was some sore muscles and a headache. Mind you, it was in a lot of pain. Could barely sleep. Oh, we have someone into the fence. That's Hughes. So Hughes has found the fence, and I'd say that is stuffed steering. He will dive back to pit lane and get some repairs and go out again. Good thing he's got 10 minutes, but yes, that's a lap that he has lost straight away. But Ferguson will be the first man to start the flying lap and set those... just had the one I wanted. Relative, no time, sectors, there we go. So Ferguson will be the man who will set the benchmark for everyone to follow. As we tip it into the first chicane. Not the best run. You see that he was struggling to get the front of the car to point in. And that compromised his run into the second part of the chicane, which in turn just compromised the rest of the run towards turn 4. Tell you what, this TerraTech Nissan is not pointing very well on this opening lap, so maybe it just hasn't quite got the tyre temperatures in. And it's just understeering like crazy. We'll see how he goes through turn 8. Got to keep it out of the fence, and he does. He's being followed. Oh, that is Marsden who found the fence, and he teleports straight back to pit lane. That car was in the air and flying, but he's jumped back to pits, and he'll get back out there for another crack at it. But Ferguson, he'll set the benchmark, but I think it's going to be eclipsed immediately by the man behind him, which is Cotter in the 99. As Ferguson lights up the rear tyres to get out of that final corner, and he stops the clock with a 1:25.033, but is immediately eclipsed by Matt Cotter with a 1:22.719. Not a bad banker for Ferguson. And Tyler Craig goes second, immediately eclipsed by Grant. We have Callison into the top 5 of 25.164. Bit of a surprise there. I expect a bit more from Callison, but keep an eye on the 225. Peter Reid now up into second place, and the Humminator into third. So times are coming in pretty quickly now, as we have a purple time for Matt Cotter. Oh, he finds the fence on the run out of turn 7. See Grant still holding on to the second row. Oh, that's a car off the track. Who's that? That is Zach Scowen into the fence and coming out of turn 7. And Reid now, he is on for a fly. Purple sector 1 for Reid, but it's purple sector 1 and sector 2 for Cotter. As they exit the hairpin, I think Cotter is going to be a bit impatient here. He'll want Ferguson to move out of the way. But I think Cotter's just backed out of the lap. That was the sensible thing to do. Peter Reid absolutely flying at the moment, up by 0.2 of a second. He's chasing down Callison just up ahead. Now we see Fergo back onto the front row of the grid provisionally. I don't expect him to stay there. Reid is on an absolute charge here. Grant now back into third. We see Callison onto row 3, and Reid goes to the top of the 1:22.447. Not a bad effort. I do love that I say not a bad effort. Like I could do any better. Cycluna now. The return of Scuzz. Provisionally onto row 2. And Harley Marshall joins him as well. 1:23.548. So it is the top three, the only drivers who are in the 22s at the moment. And a fairly decent gap between third and fourth. See cars clattering over the exit curbs. Reed's backed out of this lap, but one man who hasn't backed out of it, well, two men who haven't backed out of it. We have Cotter and Cycluna. But Cotter loses a little bit of time going through sector 2. It's actually lost nearly 2/10 on Reed. Around the final corner. Oh, Cotter was very, very wide. Missed the apex. Could have fit another car between himself and the apex there. He does improve, but he stays second. Cycluna is also backed out of that lap. Let's check in with Grant. He actually moves up onto the third row of the grid provisionally. Munro now onto the fourth row of the grid. I'm a little bit surprised, but we haven't really seen a lot of Munro this season. He's certainly dividing his time over a few different leagues. We've seen him in Shakedown, and we're seeing him in GT Club's IndyCar series. So good to see that Munro is getting around. And Cotter now, he is again on a fly, up by 2/10 in the first sector. But this middle sector is where he is losing all the time, it seems. Or maybe it was just how good Reed's time really was. We see Scowen and Cotter around. He loses it right in front of Simmons, and that was Tyler Craig just coming around the turn 9. Right on board here with Craig as he comes up towards the final corner. A little bit of understeer. The car's not really loading up those front tyres enough. You can see it's just very, very slow to point. So we might, I expect to see Tyler jumping into pit lane very, very soon to try and rectify that. As he tips through. Oh, he finds the tyre barrier, that cursed tyre barrier that he's made mention of a couple of times this week. It's just such a fine line. You're trying to get the best run you can through that chicane. You can make up a lot of time. You can lose a lot of time there as well. Unfortunately for Craig, just getting a little bit too eager with the track space and finding that immovable tyre barrier. Now this is a guy I'm sort of surprised that he's not really at the front tonight. That is young Betts. Seen this this young man absolutely flying at all the previous rounds. So he heads up through the staircase. It's looking like a tidy lap, but he's lost a heap of time. I'm not sure if he's just not getting a good run through the first chicane. We saw the car was making all sorts of shapes over the curbs and on the landing from popping up on two wheels. And maybe just the fast damping just not quite balanced to Betts' liking. But that is a pretty decent second sector. Thing is, for Betts, he is running out of time to get down a much more representative lap time of what he is capable of. Again, car's just really slow to rotate for Betts. That's where he's losing all his time, and he stays 11th. I saw Callison jump up into 8th place, 1:23.756. And Munro now onto the second row of the grid provisionally. Cycluna also going purple in sector 1. So we'll join Cycluna as he heads down the back straight towards the intimidating turn 8. Drops it down one cog. Interesting, he goes back up to 6th gear before getting hard on the brakes for turn 9. bit greedy on the curb. Gets the car pointed in really nicely for that second last corner. Oh, but runs it in way too deep. Ends up having to take the go-kart line in the wet. Works well in the wet, but not so great in the dry, and he loses a fair bit of time there. Oh! That was seriously close between Hughes and Cicluna. Definitely a brown pants moment. But he avoided the bin. So they'll go in the Hall of Fame for Cicluna. Oh, Ferguson purple in Sector 2. He's still down a little bit on Reed's pole time. And unable to improve, unable to get into those 22s. As Munro moves up into third with a 22.559. Scowen is on for a personal best. It's not going to be a lightning fast time respective to Reed's time, but it'll get him on the board as he's chasing down Simmons just in front of him. Not a bad driver to follow either, if you're trying to put down a decent lap time. Cotter now 3/10 up. That's purple Sector 1 for Cotter. So he heads down the back straight towards turn 8. We'll join him. On the limit, almost taking the top layer of the vinyl off on the wall, exiting turn 8. Oh, struggling to get the power down in the 99 Commodore. Struggling to get the car slowed down and stable. As checkered flag has come out for qualifying. Let's see if Matt Cotter can do a last second upset. Tyler Craig gets into the 10. What can Cotter get down to? Can he break it? He can. He goes top of the 22.032. So Matt Cotter, the pole sitter for tonight's race. Scowen is on for a personal best as well. He can just keep this lap together. And he can't. He grabs that front left brake on the run down towards turn 11. So we're going to wrap up this qualifying session. Matt Cotter and Reed will make up your front row. Row 2 will be Munro and Cicluna. Then we have Marsden and Ferguson off of row 3. Row 4 will see Grant and Marshall, Callison and McFarland round out the top 10. Then we have Craig and Betts off of row 6. Keep an eye on Betts. That he is definitely out of position. We have seen so much more from the 41 ZB Commodore. Hughes and Scowen off of row 7. Then we have Simmons and Park rounding out the field. Fortunately, Taylor and, well, Richards. I think Taylor has taken on the race director role, or he's starting from the rear field because reasons. And unfortunately, Matt Richards stricken with the spicy cough. So that wraps up qualifying. We're going to jump out of the server for now. Zach's going in chat there. I have 78 laps to improve. That's it, mate. If you're struggling, my advice, when you're having a bit of a character building night, shall we say, use the race to practice. Every lap you're doing now is basically improving your skill. So whether the results reflect that improvement or not, every lap does count. So make sure you complete every lap. Zach, don't quit. Don't quit. Chicken Man Sock, haven't done much practice and don't have a good setup. P12 is where I should be. Okay, well that is Betts. So, well, 78 laps around a torturous race circuit, mate. I reckon you can pick through the field. There's definitely going to be some bins. 24 flat. That's not bad. Just do that for 78 laps. That's all. That's all. Just a 24. Just 24s for 78 laps straight. Just do that. Don't bin it. Do not bin it, Zach. That's all I can say. Tell you what, I don't know why, but I'm very, very sleepy at the moment. Don't know if I have enough time to go and make a coffee. I do know who I'm talking to, Zach. You can do it. You can do it. I believe in you, Zach. What are you going to make me regret believing in you? You know what? I won't be able to make a coffee, but I know what I can make. Be right back, folks. Be right back. I'm back, folks. I'm back. You enjoyed the chair stream? Okay, let's bring you, folks at home, a nice big view of the race circuit, and we will get a new prediction started for you. Got to do a prediction for qualifying. Let's do an old favourite. Are we going to have a clean turn one? Give you a minute to think about it, and then put in your predictions. Bet those channel points. Ah, Zach. VR racing, yes. Can confirm. VR racing is awesome. Make sure you got a good GPU though. That's all I can say. Alright, let's fly up here. So here is our front row. We have Reed and Cotter. Cotter your pole man, Reed on second. These two have been really good rivals together. Road number 2, we have Munro and Cicluna. Okay, Cicluna's just changed his livery. Okay, fine. Fine. Munro, as ever, with the shopping list down the side of the car. We then have the two Terratech Nissans on row number 3. Great to see Fergo and Marsden doing quite well. Then we have Grant and Marshall off of row 4. Row 5 will be Callison and McFarlane. Great to see Callison back on track. Definitely missed Callison. last few rounds. Can't remember the last time we saw her. Then we have Craig and Betts off of row number 6. Row 7 is Hughes and Scowen. And then off the back of the field is Taylor Simmons. And we should have Park as well, although Park has not jumped into the server, which is interesting. Anyway, let's fly back up to the front of the field as we get set for the start. Lights are on. Here we go. Lights are flashing up one by one. We have got 6 lights on. 6 lights out. We are Wade Racing. Reed managed to get a little bit of a better jump, initial jump off the line, but it is even Stevens as we head towards turn number 1. Oh God, that's a tree. All right, as we head through the first chicane, there's a little bit of bumping and barging from the front 2, and a little bit of bumping and barging further back through the field. Can we get through turn 3 cleanly? Looks like we've had a clean start. Wonders never cease as we see Taylor is actually in the race. Oh, we have a car in the fence. That is Chris Munro. So Chris Munro has pinned it at turn number 4 on the entry to Wakefield Street. But Matt Cotter is away and racing. He's got a little bit of a gap now to Reed and Cicluna. Then we have the 2 Terratech Nissans in 4th and 5th. As we see the field just streaking down the back straight. See one of the Terratech Nissans is weaving out of the slipstream of his teammate. That was Ferguson behind Marsden. Okay. Oh, we've got a car on the fence. That is Hughes. Hughes into the fence big time in the Cadbury Commodore. And Simmons almost centre punches him going into the hairpin. We've got a car over the curb there. I think that was Scowen in the unit. Absolute unit racing. That looks like a lot of damage on the back of the unit Commodore. So he has, someone has found the back of the 51. Oh, that was tight, and he's going to have to go around again. So, not the ideal start for Scowen, but we got a little battle brewing here. Marshall has actually managed to split the Terratech Nissans. I'd say he did that at turn 9, maybe 10 or 11. And next driver to line up behind Ferguson is Callison. So Callison putting the trying to turn the thumb screws on Ferguson. So we head down the back straight, and Callison has got Grant just behind, and the Humminator as well. Also got an eye on Chris Munro. He's just moved back into 13th. So he heads through turn 11. Fastest lap of the race, Cotter with a 23.461. Oh, did I see a car? That is a car entering pit lane. That is Simmons in the 551 Mustang. Jump back to this battle here. Actually, we'll jump back to this battle even a little bit further back. We have Grant, McFarlane, Betts, and Craig all in close quarters combat. Actually, that battle pack goes all the way down to 13th with Chris Munro. As all up the inside goes the Humminator. Can he Humminate? He can. So McFarlane, actually they're still side by side, they're still arguing, but Grant is going to lose a lot of time because here comes Betts up the inside, heading up towards turn 8. I think there's got to be some sort of common sense here for Grant. Just take the one, lose the one position. No, he's going to argue around the outside. Betts will give him space, but I think Grant may have found the wall anyway, and he's going to be invulnerable here to Craig as well as Munro trying to split Craig and Hughes on the entry to the hairpin. And unbelievably, Grant, although I think he may have exceeded track limits there on the exit of turn 9 to keep that position, he has managed to hold on to 9th place. So this battle pack, it's starting to turn it up already, and we're only on lap 4 of 78 as Chris Munro moving up the inside of Craig. Gets the move done, and Betts is around into the fence. And now he's going to have to wait for the rest of the field of Taylor to go around. And we see Scowen back into pit lane. Actually, I think he missed the pit lane twice. Good to see that he finally managed it. What do we always say on this channel? Practice your pit entry. It's just as important as practicing your race lines. Anyway, we rejoin the action with Marsden. He's going to come under pressure soon from Marshall and his teammate Ferguson and Callison too. So they head up towards turn 8. Hughes still holding off Craig as they, just in the background there, you saw Hughes with a little bit of attention from Craig heading down the back straight through turn 8. Oh, I totally forgot to hand out channel points. So it was a clean start to the race. I don't count Chris Munro's bin as an unclean start. As Cotter now, a little bit quicker now. Oh, here comes Craig with a very aggressive lunge into the final corner. Hughes did give him space. I don't think they made contact, but Hughes managed to get a little bit better drive than Craig on the way up to the first chicane. Oh, Hughes finds the tyre barrier. And I would say that he has got a lot of steering damage. So there is the first death. And that is going to be a very long lap for Hughes in the JR Racing Commodore. Oh, he was running so well, but just finding that tyre barrier, and that tyre barrier is so unforgiving as well. It's almost not worth trying to cut the line. And how lucky was Craig in the ING Mustang not to get involved in that. Very, very lucky man. That's right on board with Munro as he's actually made the move. Stick around the outside of Grant going into turn 10. And he now continues his march forward after a lap 1 bin. So, next driver's up ahead. I'll tell you what, McFarland is actually making some pretty good strides forward. Well, striding forward in this race. He's qualified, I think he qualified outside of the top 10. He did. He qualified 11, no. He's up 3 positions. I don't know, but he's made up 3 positions. Well, they say that Taylor's made up 20 positions, but he started way down with the safety cars. So he didn't actually put in a lap time. I'd say that the driver who's made up the most amount of ground has to be Harley Marshall. Well, here he is in the Scandia Racing Mustang. He's all over the back of Steve Marsden as they head into the turn 9 hairpin. Pressure is on for Marsden. Six seconds between himself and Cyclona as they round a recovering Zach Scowen in the 51 Commodore. I think Marshall has picked up a flat spot. Just hear him just nipping up that front left tyre. He's got to manage that for the next couple of laps. Sort of expecting the pit window to come in at around... Well, I'm expecting drivers to start making their pit stops around lap 15 to 20. Ooh, both Marsden and Marshall grabbed a little bit too much curb there at turn 11. That's going to cost both of them time. Luckily, they've got about 4 seconds over Callison. Callison actually now in front of Ferguson. And the next driver to have a crack at the 31 Terratech Nissan will be the Humminator himself. And look who is charging up behind them. That is Munro in the Lego Nissan. We head up towards the centre chicane. I think that's the centre chicane. I want to say it's the centre chicane. Ticking off another lap. Did I see someone recovering? That must have been Simmons, actually. So they head through the staircase. They're starting to bunch up now behind Callison and Fergo. Oh, look at McFarlane pushing all over the back of the 31 Terratech Nissan. He's got another Nissan just behind him. You can see in the rear vision mirror. I tell you what, that is the last thing you want to see in your rear vision mirror. The 185 Nissan of Munro. As they head through turn 8, McFarlane probably could have gone defensive, but chooses not to. See that Munro was definitely thinking about the move. I tell you what, this might bring Grant into this as well. Callison, I sort of expected Callison to sort of drive away from this group, but she really hasn't, which is a bit surprising. Oh, Munro very, very deep. They're coming up onto lap traffic of Simmons. They tip it into the chicanes. Simmons a little bit unstable on turn in. Looking at the back of Callison's Mustang. How close do you guys like your racing? Oh no, Grant has binned it. Oh, and it's causing a bit of a traffic jam now. As we see Craig Taylor and I think that might have been Hughes squeezing by. Oh, God. We were just talking about how Grant might be able to buy into the battle for 6th. Just a little mistake. I think he has managed to find the fence as well. So, Grant pushing very hard. Oh, Simmons has found the fence at turn 8. So there we go. I think that that's the first victim we've seen of turn 8. And in fact, Simmons actually going very deep and unable to do a flick spin. Didn't quite get the flick spin right. Oh, have a look at this. This is... Oh, that was the camera I wanted. Looking out the back of Ferguson's Nissan. We have Munro all over the back of the Humminator's Mustang. As Ferguson manages to claw back onto the rear bumper of Callison. This is great racing here. Apparently we got some leaders. Oh, Munro thought about a move into the final corner of the staircase. Just not close enough this time by. Are we going to see a move into turn 8? Right on board now with Munro. Oh, and Munro finds the fence at turn 8. And he has got some severe damage on the 185 Nissan. So that will be a trip into pit lane. Oh, Craig, unaware that Munro has got a lot of steering damage. chose to go around the outside. Now the next driver to go around will be Taylor. So, huge incident there for Chris Munro, riding on board with him. That takes the pressure off McFarlane. He can start trying to pile it back onto Ferguson and Callison just ahead of him. He's got a little bit of ground to make up there. Oh, Craig has been to turn 1 now. I'd say it'd be another driver who's just found that that tyre barrier. And in fact, he has decided to jump right back into pit lane. So, what is that on the front? No, Hilltop Hoods. Okay. So, in fact, Tyler Craig has DNF'd from this race. A huge shame for Tyler Craig. Made it to lap 11, unfortunately. Yeah, here's a great battle here for P4. Oh, big slide from Marshall, and he managed to hang on to it. That was a huge moment for Marshall. Just grabbed the grass on the entry to the final corner. Don't know how he didn't centre punch the Terratech Nissan just ahead of him. Marshall, the only driver, apart from Munro and Scowen, on the super softs at the moment. So, I'd say that Marshall has probably used the best of his tyres at the moment. Moments like that, I wish I had an instant replay function. There's another fastest lap for Matt Cotter, a 23.363. Cotter is really turning the screws on the rest of the field as we see Marshall get a little bit of a compression lock there. Just manages to regather control. All these little mistakes, they're just allowing Marsden to just skip away a little bit. Hear the tyres lighting up as he changes gears. Now down the back straight again. Marshall got a little bit of a better drive than Marsden, but he's just too far away to make anything work going into turn 9. I mean, we say this a lot, but you've just got to be so patient when you're chasing someone. Oh, again, a little compression lock. And then a little bit of wheel spin on the exit. Oh, Chris Munro is a DNF. So we've lost Craig and Munro in the early stages of this race. Another fastest lap for Matt Cotter too. Only just saw that pop up down the bottom corner of the screen. See, Marsden and Marshall are doing identical lap times in this battle for 4th place. Those guys are coming up onto Hughes, lap down. Check in with the battle for 6th place. We've still got Ferguson right hot on the heels of Callison. Oh, Ferguson, great drive out of turn 7, but I think he's going to run out of track soon. Not quite close enough to make the move stick before turn 8. Got to be careful of the aero wash here. Now Callison goes defensive. It's not stopping Fergo. He thinks about a move around the outside, gets home to the exit curb and loses all that drive he had. Oh, Betts is around. Is that another victim? Oh, that's a victim of the staircase, and he's going to do the long reverse. And I think he's going to wait for the leaders to head on through. So, yep, that was Matt Cotter who's gone past Betts. Let's rejoin the battle for 6th. Battle for 4th has settled down. Marshall has dropped about 1.7, 1.8, so Marshall's made a mistake in the staircase. So now right on board with Callison, looking back at the Ferguson Nissan. Ferguson makes that little error grabbing the curb. It's going to take a little bit more pressure off of Callison. I'll tell you what, Callison not that far behind Marshall either. Maybe a chance for Callison to get into the top 5, which I'm certain she'll be pretty happy with. In fact, Callison sets her fastest time at 24.291. She flies through the first chicane, starting to put a little bit more of a bit more daylight between herself and Ferguson. Now, but seeing these guys changing position, that's Scowen in the 51 unit Commodore and Hughes in the Cadbury Commodore. These guys are battling away for 12th place. Don't tell them that's only 12th place. They don't care. This is an important battle for them. Got more lap traffic coming up behind them in the form of Callison and Ferguson. So they head through turn 8. Here we go, Hughes with a much better run through turn 8. And Hughes will get back in front of Scowen. But he runs in a little bit deep. Scowen going for the switchback. Can't get the power down as effectively as Hughes. And blue flags are waving like crazy. I'm sure Callison will want these guys to just move out of the way. And into the pit lane comes Marshall in with a dive bomb comes Scowen. Big move from Zach Scowen. It's a little bit squirrely on the exit. This is helping Ferguson actually. These guys battling away in front of Callison. It is doing a huge favour for Ferguson, but I'm sure that Callison, she'll be howling on the mumble. Oh, big slide for Callison. It's going to give Fergo a chance. Oh, Scowen with a late dive bomb. He locks the front brakes and a little bit of collision between Scowen and Hughes. And he's going to let Ferguson through. May even go for a readdress on Hughes. No, resume racing. Oh, McFarland is a DNF, so they're dropping like flies. A high attrition rate for our competitors tonight. So I'd say that'd be a dreaded disconnect for McFarland. The internet gods have struck again, and they have struck down McFarland. Not for the first time, I'm afraid to say. Was the camera I wanted. There we go. Looking at the back of Scowen's Commodore at Hughes's Cadbury. Oh, Hughes very, very wide, and off the track goes Hughes. He will recover eventually, but that will basically take the pressure off of Scowen. And play on from there. But that battling, that really did hurt Callison. It's allowed Ferguson to start applying the blowtorch to the back of the 225 Mustang. So they head through the staircase, tick off another lap. Race leader is still Matt Cotter. He's got a 7.5 second gap between himself and Reed. Cyclona sitting sort of in no man's land. 2 seconds behind Reed and 16 seconds ahead of Marsden. I just saw a name flash red. Who would that have been? I had a feeling that was Taylor that just flashed red. Oh, Marshall's around. Don't know how Marshall managed that. I'd say maybe getting onto the curb on the exit of turn 7. He's now onto the back of Simmons, who is a lap down. Oh, Marshall now down in 9th place. Swapped onto the softs. I'd say that Marshall forgot that he was on super softs for qualifying, and that's why he started this long race on the super softs. Seeing that Scowen and Hughes are resuming their battle. These guys are enjoying this. I would call this the I want to be on the stream battle. Oh, Scowen misses his braking marker. Versus back and gets back on his way. And he's just got to settle down here, let the tyres cool down. Just continue to just get back into that rhythm. We got a battle here for 7th. This is Taylor and Grant battling away. They head down the back straight again, heading towards turn 8. Oh, Grant having that engine screaming on the way into turn 8. Big downshift. It's Taylor now. Starting to come under a bit of pressure here, and just behind these two is Marshall. Oh, Callison and Marsden swapping positions. What has happened to No, that's just a timing glitch. Never mind. Right on board now with Taylor. Head down the front straight. Tick off another lap. I think I just saw Hughes into the fence again. His name flashed red, I'm certain of it. See Scowen back in pit lane. Just trying to get some repairs. Did find the fence very hard on that previous lap. Here comes Grant actually. He's got the slipstream down the front straight. And Taylor will go defensive into turn 9 again. Oh, Taylor in a bit deep. That may give Grant a little chance. Isn't able to do anything, and that's just helping Marshall close in a little bit closer. kiss on the wall there for Grant. Taylor, again, going defensive. Probably doesn't need to go defensive unless it is possible. Perhaps Taylor is just trying to formulate a plan of backing Grant into Marshall and then letting those two battle away, and hopefully he can skip away. It's a legitimate strategy. It's been done before. I've seen it play out several times. Oh, Grant again finding the fence, and this will give Marshall a chance to send it up the inside at turn 9, and I think Marshall will get the move done. He does get a little bit of wheel spin, but it should be enough to take over 8th place from Grant. Now for Marshall, next driver on his list is Taylor. See a lot of defensive driving here from Taylor. He's trying to make this ZB Commodore as wide as possible. But we know that Marshall has come into pits not that long ago, so he is on much fresher tyres than what Taylor is at the moment. Right now, this is the closest battle on track. As I said at the top of the show, this tonight's racing is all about that patience and discipline. It's not going to be a night of not making any mistakes. It's going to be a night of making less mistakes than everyone around you. See that these two, Taylor and Marshall, they've sort of skipped away a little bit from Grant. See Taylor again going very defensive. It may just backfire on him though. See that Marshall is able to get much better drive out of all these tighter corners while Taylor is going defensive. And this will be a chance now for Marshall. He's had a much better run through the first 3 corners. He's going to go the long way around into Wakefield Street. This will be an almighty move if he can get it done. I think he's got it done. Oh, what a move around the outside. Great move from Harley Marshall. He's got that move done going into Wakefield Street. So Marshall now up to 7th. And we've also had our 4th DNF of the night of Scowen. In chat there, way too much damage. Oh, mate. It's a tough track. Should have got that repaired and gone out and done some more practice, mate. So that leaves us now with 12 competitors. This has been a brutal night of racing. Started with 16, went down to 12. Now the question will be for Marshall, can he work his way ahead, far away from Taylor? Lap car just ahead in the form of Hughes. Just also keeping tabs on the battle for 2nd place between Reed and Cycluna. The gap has come down to under a second. for the first time since the start of this race. So we may have a little bit of a chance for Cycluna to get up onto the second step of the podium. Speaking of which, the gap between Reed and Cotter is also starting to come down. It's under 5.5 seconds. At one point it was over 7 seconds, so maybe Cotter has made a mistake somewhere, and that's allowing Reed to close in. So again, 2/10 being ripped out of Cotter's lead. So Reed just starting to show that experience that he has in the V8 Supercars. Oh, Cotter! Oh, he's binned it coming out of the final corner, and that has allowed Reed to go through. So one mistake, and that massive gap that Matt Cotter had has disintegrated. And he may lose second place here to Cycluna. Cycluna up the inside going into the first corner. Brave move from Cycluna, but Cotter fights back immediately. They almost end up into the fence. There was a little bit of contact between the 28 and the 99. Just when you think that the battle for the lead was getting a bit stale, it has come alive here. Matt Cotter making up that one little mistake. That's all it takes in any form of racing, or any sport really. If you want to win, you got to make less mistakes than everyone else. Because one mistake can just be the difference between winning and coming second. So I wonder if Cotter has just gone a little bit too hard at the start of this race. But here comes Cycluna with a big dive up the inside at turn 9. And he parks it on the apex, sits Cotter up high, forces him to take the exit curb. And Cycluna now up into second place. We look back now at Cotter's Commodore as we head up towards the last corner. There's a 23.023 for Reed. More than a second quicker than both Cycluna and Cotter, but these two are fighting like mad. We're going to see a little send here, I think, from Cotter. Maybe a bit of payback for the send on that Cycluna just pulled. Almost reach out and touch the front of the spinning torpedo Commodore. As we have Steve Marsden into pit lane to tick off his first of the pit stops. He's followed by his Terratech teammate of Ferguson. First of our pit stops in the pit window have started. Wondering if Marshall, the first driver who made a pit stop, whoa, okay, that was a little bit odd. Have a little bit of TARDISing going on. We're not having any connection problems for any of our competitors. Just starting to see a little bit of rubber banding there for Cycluna. Hopefully we are not jinxing anyone out there. Wow, this is sort of helping Reed just skip away slowly. Oh, Cycluna, he'd had everything locked up as he tried to slow it down for turn 9. Only just managed to pull it up, really. again. Cotter ranging up onto the back of Cycluna as they head through turn 8. No way through for Cotter, but Cotter very confident on the brakes, I have to say. Oh, struggles to get the power down out of turn 9 though. Oh, but a much better exit out of turn 11. We may see a little send here for Cotter on Cycluna, but the gap just shrinks and Cycluna runs it in a little bit deep though. But Cotter not able to get the power down, so an opportunity goes begging for Matt Cotter to get back into second place and try and chase down his longtime rival, Peter Reid, currently leading by 5.5 seconds over these two. Oh, Cotter thought about the send. And Cycluna goes in very deep. So Cycluna makes a mistake. And this is going to be a very costly mistake as he tries to gather it back up and set off in chase. Luckily, he had a massive advantage over Callison in 4th place. But that allows our early race leader, Matt Cotter, back into second place. And we'll see if he can make any inroads on our current race leader, Reid. Meanwhile, that gives us a chance to have a look at this battle that's brewing for 6th place. We've got Marshall and Ferguson. Marshall started this race behind one of the TerraTech Nissans. I think it was the number 30 of Marsden. And, well, he made his pit stop. Now he finds himself stuck behind another TerraTech Nissan. Little lock up there for Marshall. We have Cotter and Reid now into pit lane, so they're ticking off their scheduled stop. We also have Taylor Simmons back in pit lane. That actually elevates Callison in front of Reid. Callison will have to make a pit stop soonish. Well, you would think that she would have to make a pit stop soonish. But she could be a right royal pain for Reid and Cotter. Just proved to be a little bit more difficult than what Reid anticipated. Sure, Reid did not want to be out in the middle of traffic. And Cycluna now into pit lane. So I'm sort of expecting to see the Team Iris Mustang that we're focusing currently to dive into pit lane. Probably this lap or next lap, and it's going to be this lap, so that will release Reid. Whereas Daniel Cycluna, he's in pit lane at the moment and hasn't really moved, so this will hand the lead back to Reid, and I'd say that Cotter will also make the move back up into second place, and he'll have a massive advantage as well over Cycluna. I think we are actually down to 11 competitors, unfortunately. As Simmons has been in pit lane for quite some time and has not moved. So I dare say that Hughes is the last running car on track. It's a huge shame. High attrition rate for Adelaide. guess you could say that sim racing is imitating real life racing. Of course, the Adelaide 500 being a very high attrition race. Look at this, we got two battles in one shot there. Callison and B. Marsden. And then the other Terra Technician of Ferguson and Marshall. Marshall looking for the send, but Ferguson gradually taking away the space. So Marshall having to duck back behind the number 31. And I think Marsden, I did see that Callison was going a little bit defensive going into turn 9. But it has not stopped Marsden from just driving it around the outside, doing it the long way. And he will slide back into 4th place, although he's got 19 seconds to make up on Cicluna if he wants to be on the podium. As we've seen so far tonight, this race proving to be very, very tough on the drivers. So a move might be coming for Marsden onto the podium if he just sticks to this sort of rhythm. Callison immediately fighting back, not taking this line down. Thought about a move into the staircase. Just not quite close enough. Got this slight little lull in the action. I'd like to remind you that if you're joining us for the first time, you've never seen this, please hit the follow button and that notification bell. We've got plenty of other series that we broadcast here. But also, if you want to get involved in what you're seeing right now, feel free to jump onto the AK Racing Discord. There is a link right there in chat. Get involved and join the racing. Certainly a very diverse community of characters out there. Zaxgow, no, Maffey is not racing. He is just sitting in the server. Managing Discord, I believe. There we have 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th all in one shot there. Marsden, Callison, Ferguson and Marshall. Got a great little seesaw battle here between Ferguson and Marshall. So, both these guys just making those tiny little errors that's helping the other guy. It's also helping Callison just sort of skip away into the distance a little bit. Get closer to that half race distance of lap 39. Peter Reid's still your leader, but that gap between himself and Cotter has come down. It's down to under 2 seconds. So Cotter on an absolute, he is really flying at the moment. In fact, Reid back into pit lane. I don't know if this is a scheduled stop for Reid. Actually, I'd say that'd be a drive-through. Probably for track limits. There's another element that I forgot to really take into account. These this chicane here, very easy place to get a track strike. course, you get 5 warnings. On the 6th one, you get a drive through. Now the positions have swapped over. Matt Cotter resumes the lead of this race, as he did from the start some 36 laps ago. And he's in danger of checking out here. He's got to be careful. Of course, like real racing, it's never over until the checkered flag drops. So we got a battle starting to brew here between Marsden and Callison. So this battle's just starting to wind itself up. I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to leave you with this battle. Oh, there's Grant wins it somewhere. But yeah, I'll leave you with this battle, and I'll be back very, very soon. Hello everyone, I am back. Did I miss anything cool? Doesn't look like it. Seems to be par for the course. Marsden still holding off Callison, although Ferguson starting to get a little bit closer. They have managed to drop Marshall, and that is Taylor just behind, as Cotter goes fast with 23.216, personal best for Matt Cotter. Still got Reid just behind him, well, 5.7 seconds behind. And Cyclone is still in third. As we have lost Grant. So we are down to 10 drivers left in this race. So massive attrition rate tonight. It's okay. We have got a great quality race here between Marsden and Callison. Oh yeah, that's true, Zach. So I think Hughes has retired as well. He's been in pit lane for a while. Not moving. Certainly not moving. It's right on board with Callison. Trying to put as much pressure on the Terratech Nissan of Marsden. A lot of motorsport happening on this weekend. We've had the V8 Supercars, but tonight and tomorrow morning, there's a whole host of racing going on. So, of course, MotoGP from Sachsenring, and then, of course, Formula One for Montreal. At Formula One, Daniel Ricciardo in 9th place. Hopefully, I haven't really seen weather conditions. It was very, very wet for qualifying. That seemed to suit Danny Rick a little bit better than the dry. So, for me personally, I've got my fingers crossed that Formula One will be a wet race. So, our boy, Daniel Ricciardo, he might be able to get up there and battle away for the lead of this race eventually. The lead of the Grand Prix, hopefully tonight at some point, or tomorrow morning I should say. Time zones are weird, man. Time zones are weird. Yeah, Hugh, I'd love to see Danny Ricciardo win a championship, but he's running out of time. All signs are pointing towards Daniel Ricciardo losing his contract with McLaren a year early. It's been a very, very tough time at McLaren. Car's not exactly the easiest to drive. I don't know, the thing about Ricciardo is that he seems to be joining teams just as they start to go backwards. And then the teams he leaves start to go forwards, which is just... it's tough, man. It's tough. I don't know where he'd be able to go. So everyone else is pretty happy with their driver selections, except maybe Williams. They're probably a little bit over having Nicholas Latifi in the team. But I mean, all signs are pointing towards Oscar Piastri taking that second seat at Williams, which would be awesome. Possibly, depending on how Fernando Alonso feels at the end of the year, like maybe he might choose to retire. Maybe Ricciardo can try and jump it back over to Alpine. Or, and fingers crossed, My least favourite Formula 1 driver, Lewis Hamilton, decides to chuck a dummy spit and leave the sport altogether because he's not winning. And that will hopefully open up a seat at Mercedes for Daniel Ricciardo. But the problem for Ricciardo is there is plenty of young drivers that they're hungry. They're hungry to get into Formula 1. And unfortunately for Ricciardo, motorsport is a young man's game. And he's about the same age as me, 32 years of age. So it's going to be very tough for him from here on out. I am 32, Zach. Turning 33. Where has the time gone? Jesus. Oh, Zach, I like you. Thought I was 22. Man, I wish I had 50 cents every time someone said that to me. Yeah, I guess live clean, exercise as much as you can, stay off drugs, and yeah, you'll keep your youthful looks. Guess that's all I can say on the matter. I mean, I'll be honest, I am a little bit surprised that you thought I was 22. I mean, I mentioned one of the last streams that I've been racing go-karts for 25 years. Maths don't really add up there, but you know, I'll keep the compliment. 22. I'll tell you what, it's actually the camera. The camera takes off a few years. They don't show all the lines and stressed lines on my face. Right, just starting to see a battle creep in here for Marsden and Callison. You know, the funny thing is, I probably was. Been at racetracks for a very, very long time. So, lap 45 of 78, your leader is still Cotter from Reed and Cycluna. And then we got this battle for 4th place here with Marsden and Callison. These two have been battling away quite consistently throughout the entire race. And the second of the TerraTech Nissans just sort of holding station back there in 6th place, just 2.5 seconds off these two. Fortunately, for all of us sitting at home hoping to see a titanic battle for this season finale of AK Racing V8 Supercar, Matt Cotter has sort of checked out. Unfortunately, for everyone sitting at home playing along, with drivers like Matt Cotter, you just cannot afford to allow him to do that. He just cannot be allowed to get into his rhythm, otherwise he will just start driving away. So again, Callison tucked into the slipstream, just not close enough. Just can't do anything about this gap that's between herself and Marsden. As they tip it in through turn 9. It's just sort of becoming a bit of a seesaw battle here between Marsden and Callison. Unfortunately, they're just not really able. Well, for Callison, just cannot seem to latch onto the rear bar of Marsden's Altima. Try and put that pressure on. It's just very, very difficult. Eddie Harris, any useful tips if I keep understeering the supercars? You're going to need to be a little bit more. Give us a little bit more details, mate. Like, is it understeering on the brakes? Is it understeering through fast corners? Understeering in slow corners? Middle of the corner? Exit? There's a lot of variables there. Just see Ferguson. I thought he was starting to get a little bit closer. He got the gap down to 2 seconds between himself and Callison, but then just that little mistake. Oh, here we go. So Eddie Harris again. Usually slow corners. I'm locking up occasionally, but still find I'm missing the exit. You could try moving the brake bias back. Maybe give it a little bit more rear rebound. A lot of different things that you could try. I would say that's a whole car rotation issue though, so probably upping the rear rebound would help the car rotate a little bit more. But if you're locking up the front brakes, then move the brake bias back, that's for sure. Not a problem, Eddie. I will admit I'm not exactly a professional with these cars. I'm more a GT3 man. But, yeah. As we get closer to lap 50, this battle for 4th place, the closest one on track. Totally forgotten that we have leaders of Cotter, Reed and Cicluna. These two have been nose to tail for much of this race. Marsden and Callison, they've got a decent gap between themselves and the second of the TerraTech Nissans of Ferguson. As we see Marshall into pit lane, so this could be the the second of the scheduled stops. Although Marshall is definitely out of sequence with the rest of the field. Start of the race, if we actually head back to the man we're talking about, Marshall in the 77 Mustang. Marshall was one of the only drivers that started the race on the Super Softs. Ended up pitting early and just couldn't. He's out of sequence with the rest of the field. So sort of not expecting anyone else to come into pits until about lap 60, when we'll see people probably jump onto the Super Softs for the remaining leg of the race. let's head back to our battle for fourth. Marsden still holding on to this this fourth place from Callison. I have to say, this has been a formidable defensive and disciplined drive from Marsden. And this is what he's seeing in his rear vision mirror. It's the Team Iris Mustang all over the back of his Nissan. Just absolute brilliant discipline here from on display from Marsden. Just sticking to his line, sticking to his braking marker, not trying to squeeze that extra meter under brakes. And the same could be said about Callison as well. Just holding this position, a little bit quicker, a 10th per lap. Oh, cuts that tyre barrier very, very fine. We've seen a lot of people come unstuck because of that tyre barrier. The collision box probably a little bit wider than what you can actually see. So definitely pushing the limits there is Callison. But she's showing exactly what you should be doing when you're chasing, which is stick to your rhythm. Allow for the driver in front to make the mistakes instead of you trying to close in yourself. So we're seeing two very, very disciplined drivers, and even though they're not battling for the lead of this race, this is still something very valuable that anyone sitting at home looking to improve your own sim racing can take home and just re-watch over and over and over. It's just consistent laps. We see Callison run a little bit wide, misses the apex a bit. That allows Marsden just to pull away a little bit, heading into the final corner. Maybe there's a little bit of understeer in the Team Iris Mustang that we're riding on board with right now. See, these two are doing identical lap times again. Like, it's not a battle for the lead, but this is just as entertaining as if we had Cotter and Reed nose to tail. And speaking of Cotter and Reed, Reed has managed to take a full second out of Matt Cotter's lead. So certainly not over yet. And of course we have seen Reed cop a drive-through penalty for track limits, I would say. So the same can happen to Cotter as well. Honestly, I have a feeling watching these two, Callison and Marsden, even if Callison did manage to squeeze by Marsden, Marsden would be right back on the attack straight away. Let's ride on board again with Marsden as we head into the last corner, and now Marsden into pit lane. So now this is going to be interesting. This is a scheduled stop for Marsden. Callison's gone an extra lap. We'll see if Callison can make any sort of improvements on her own best. Keep an eye on that delta. She may dive into pit lane this lap. Try and get that overcut on Ferguson. Unfortunately, that has robbed us of a race battle. So I guess we'll have to go through the field and check out some of the drivers who sort of having a bit of a disappointing race. We know that Betts didn't really do any practice tonight for tonight's race. He's usually been at the front at the at all the previous rounds. But tonight it just hasn't come together for him, unfortunately. So I don't believe he was really featuring in the championship. We'll try and find some championship points for you. So here we go. So currently on top, it is. Oh no, that can't be right. We've done Daytona, so we haven't really got any updated points for us to go through. We can get a bit of an idea. So we have points from after the Daytona round, and well, Bet's down in 13th at the conclusion of, after the conclusion of Queensland Raceway. So probably not really taking this one as seriously as if he was, as if he would if he was in with a shot for the championship. But certainly taken away a lot of data for the next season of AK Racing. And speaking of which, if you want to get involved in this, you can by joining the AK Discord, as Betts goes and bins it right in front of us as we're talking him up. They do have another season coming up soon, along with a Bathurst 1000 event, I believe. Indeed. So on the 9th and 10th, unless that has changed. Matthew, if you're still in chat, maybe just let me know if I'm wrong here, but 9th and 10th, there is a Bathurst 1000 event. So get involved with this. But the next season of 2022 starts on the 24th of next month, and that will be at Pukekohe. And they go to Townsville, the Bend, Calder Park. That's going to be cool to see Calder Park again. Gold Coast, so Surfers Paradise Street Circuit, Oran Park, rest in peace. Newcastle, Bathurst Super Sprints, 2 races of 11 laps and then 1 race of 23. Donington Park International, and then rounding out the season at Sydney Motorsport Park under lights. It's going to be insanely cool. Oh no, we have a car in the fence. That's Peter Reid. So Peter Reid drops out of second place behind Cicluna. And that just hands a massive advantage to Cotter. Way out in front. 13 seconds the gap between himself and Cicluna. And with we're also missing quite a few drivers, such as James Delaney. The question will be, can Reid close in on the back of Cicluna? Another driver that we should really be talking about. We haven't seen much of Cicluna this season. Haven't really seen much of him in any of the streams of late. Very, very busy man, it appears. Used to seeing him running GT Club and Shakedown. Shakedown, no. I don't really know what else he races. I know that he races in GT Club sometimes. I know that he races with AK, obviously. But, yeah. It's been a very, very quiet season from Cicluna. So he's closing in on the back of one of the Terratech Nissans. I'd say that would be Ferguson. So about to put a lap down on Ferguson. Should also talk about this guy here, Taylor, 25. Say that he is, this is his first real season usually one of the race directors for AK Racing, but he's managed to get out on track and do some laps himself. Of course, shout out to the rest of our race directors, making sure that this event goes very, very smoothly. In fact, doing everything they can to make every round as smooth as possible. See Taylor just getting right out of the way of Callison there in 4th place. Callison still hasn't dived into pit lane yet, so this has been a very long stint for Callison. In fact, let's actually run through how everyone is running at the moment. So Taylor, well, he did not make up 23 spots. He started off the back of the grid, but where he started was actually down with the safety cars because he didn't actually put in a qualifying lap. And Taylor stops in his box for another round of service. But, the driver who's made up the most amount of positions has been Callison and the Team Iris Mustang. Been an all-round strong performance for Callison. Still going on that race pace that that she had while following Marsden. And just continues to go along like a metronome. Speaking of which, we should have a look at Marsden and the pace that Marsden is setting. So last lap was a 25.6. Looks like he had a little bit of lap traffic. And he's about to be put a lap down from Matt Cotter, who's slipping and sliding his way around the staircase. As we see Reed now into pit lane to tick off another round of service. Matt Cotter has been in a world of his own all evening. Aside from making a mistake coming out of the final corner, which surrendered the lead temporarily to Reed, Cotter has just been unstoppable tonight. And even on this lap, he is still set to do a high 23, 24 flat, anywhere within that range. Fast lap still, I believe, belongs to Reed. And that was a 23 dead, if I'm not mistaken. Matty Richards, you would have beaten him if you could race. True story. Oh, if only we had the data. If only we had some sort of proof that you could do that, Maffy. Such a shame. Such a shame. We'll ride on board and follow Matt Cotter, probably for a lap or two. Oh, I forgot you could do that, Matty. Editing the text documents for the results would that would help you win. Tell you what, could you do the same for me? Thanks, Matty. What a legend. Matthew Richards. Should be giving you a gifted sub for that. As I believe, yeah, Matt Cotter into pit lane. So here we go. Cotter making his final pit stop. Now, will he jump onto the Super Softs? Don't think he will, but you never know. I mean, we're still a fair way out. What was that? 10, 7, 17 laps from the end. Ticks off his pit stop. Cicluna now inherits the race lead. Now Matt Cotter has to deal with cold tyres. He has stuck with the soft tyre, so interestingly, no one opting for the super softs apart from Marshall briefly in that opening stint. So soft tire not really the tyre of choice for tonight's long race, which I guess probably shouldn't be a surprise. Well, 78 laps, that is, what, 250 kilometres around this circuit. Very long way to go on one set of tyres. How's this for an opportunity? And Betts here just behind Cotter. Tips it into the hairpin again. Oh, big slide. Come on, hang on to it, Betts. Yeah, oh, that was smooth. That was a smooth little, we could call that a handbrake turn. It was a compression lock, but it counts as a handbrake turn. Great opportunity to learn from one of the fastest drivers in AK racing. Matt Cotter, as again he slides it in, just hangs on to it. Certainly driving this a little bit more like a motorbike or a go-kart perhaps. Just drifting it in. Fortunately, the whole field has really spread out. So what we're going to do in the meantime, we're going to start a new poll for those of you playing at home. Who has been driver of the year, of this season in AK racing? Let's see, I'll give you a few options. Let's see. Give me a second, just trying to think of a few drivers that I think have been fairly outstanding this season. Yeah, why not? We'll chuck him in there. Oh no. Come on, keyboard, don't die on me. There we go. Who can I put up there? Who can I put up there? Oh, why not? I know there's probably a hell of a lot more drivers who could make it into this list, but these have been 5 drivers that have been standouts for me this season. So I'm going to chuck it out to you guys in chat. Who has been driver of the season for the first half of 2022 in the V8 Supercars? Certainly been more than that. I wish I could have more than 5, but unfortunately I can't. But yeah, get your votes in. Get your votes in. So far it is Betts who has gotten 100% of the vote. I have to say that well, Betts, he has been phenomenal all season. Pretty well from the time they jumped in. It was well, he was a little bit off when he first jumped in, but then the second round, he just the second or third round that he turned up, he was just on fire, just absolutely battling away with the likes of Cotter, Reed and Delaney. Here we go. Now we got the votes coming in. So we got 2 for Marsden, 2 for Richards, 1 for Betts. Cast your votes in, people. There we go. 3 for Richards now. 4 for Richards. Great to see everyone jumping in on this one. A bit worried about it. But everyone's. I know that Maffey's voted for himself. I know he's done that. But you know what? He's gonna edit me to be the winner of tonight's race. As Betts goes and bins it. So Betts recovers and gets back on his way. Well, there we go. Oh, there you go. Oh, good on you, Richards. Check in with Callison as well. Another driver that turned heads this season. I think it was actually Winton that we last saw Callison. As Callison does it 23-1. That is rather quick. I'm going to say that Callison has done a second pit stop. As Matt Cotter goes and just casually lowers the bar at 22.603. Get close to those qualifying times. Cicluna is starting to go with him though, a 22.661 for Cicluna. A fraction slower than what Cotter managed. We're starting to get into the business end of this race. As Cotter, in true torpedo fashion, just absolutely sending this car every single corner. Heads through turn. Oh, he clouts the wall a little bit. He managed to get away with it. We've seen some people get stuck in the barrier and just destroy their car there. So he's certainly been lucky there. If I'm not mistaken, I think Matt Cotter will probably regain the championship, taking it off of Peter Reid. But actually, I'm going to hold off on that, because last season I was talking this up, and then on the last lap, with a handful of corners to go, Matt Cotter went and blew up his engine. So I mean, it's never over until the checkered flag flies, that's for sure. Cotter is still driving this thing on the very limit. I mean, he kind of has to, because Cicluna is starting to tear time out of Cotter's gap. So wait for Cotter to cross the line to see what lap time. Oh, there's a good reason as to why Cicluna is flying. He is on the super soft tyres. So this, we could be on for a grandstand finish here. 24.026 for Cicluna. Oh, sorry, Cotter. And Cicluna will stop the clock with a 23.099. So Cicluna ripping time out of Cotter's lead. Oh, we have a drive-through for Denzel. That'll be Taylor. So unfortunately, Taylor will have to make a trip through pit lane, and that might just Oh no, it shouldn't really it shouldn't really put him under threat from Betts. Continue to monitor the gap between our leaders, Cicluna and Cotter. Oh, Taylor. I don't think Taylor is aware that he's got a drive-through. Continues to circulate. Let's rejoin Cicluna as he's continuing to rip more time out of Cotter's lead. In fact, yeah, the gap down to under 7 seconds. It's down to 6.5 seconds, actually. 23.7. Cicluna does a 22.7. So another second gone. 9 laps left to run in this race. It's looking good for Cotter, but Cicluna is charging. Late change onto the Supersofts, and Cicluna is doing qualifying times. He's on maximum attack, sliding the car as he heads through the staircase. Jump on board with Cicluna. Another driver is on the Supersofts is Callison. And Callison is doing quick lap times too. Callison is also in the 23s. Closing in on Peter Reid, but 17.6 seconds the gap between Reid and Callison. I don't think Callison has the time. So Reid should be safe in third. But all eyes should be on this rapidly shrinking gap between Cicluna and Cotter. Cotter is responding though, 23.2 for Matt Cotter. Can Cicluna stay in the 22s? He is on course to. He does a 22.9, so that's another half second gone. But he is running out of time. You sense the urgency that Cicluna has just in the driving. Oh, and a big slide from Cicluna. That'll destroy the progress that he's made on Cotter. See Cotter just in the background there. There he goes, flying through. That's the gap between first and second. That's what 7.5 seconds looks like. Oh, Cicluna still on a charge. Grabs the curb at turn 8. But Cicluna knows. One little mistake is all it takes for him to be on the back of Cotter. And there we have it, driver of the season as voted by you guys in chat is Matty Richards. Wish I could give something. As we have a focus on a driver from Hugh Smackman. Wants me to focus on this man here, Matt Cotter. I can do that. Cotter heading through the staircase, trying his hardest. Delta says he should be on for a 22.6, so he is responding to the flying assault from Daniel Cicluna. See in the background there, Cicluna just rounding up on the Terratech Nissans. I think that is Ferguson. See, Cotter is still pushing so hard. Oh no, you're joking! Callison and Reid have swapped positions. What's going on with Reid? Oh no, never mind. It was just a timing issue. Oh, I'm sorry. I got too excited there. That would have been wild, huh? That would have been absolutely crazy. The dying stage of this race. Callison closes in and passes Peter Reid. So Cotter now, I think he's done enough. Oh, I was just saying, I was just talking a little bit. And Cotter makes a little error. Suddenly that gap is down to just under 6.5 seconds. I mean, realistically, Matt Cotter is doing the right thing. He's sticking to his rhythm. The moment you back off, that is when you make mistakes. We've all seen it hundreds of times at Bathurst. He's in very deep at turn 8. He finds the wall. He's making a few little mistakes here. Oh, I wonder if he's just hurt his front tyres a little bit. The car is just... it's just understeering a bit. And Reid has got to drive through now. Now track limits, I'd say that'll be coming out of turn 7. Seen a lot of drivers being a little bit ambitious with how much space they've used. It is just so inviting, all that extra space on the left-hand side of that exit curb. But it has bitten Reid for the second time tonight. And this might bring Callison. Where is Callison? Callison's coming. We're on for a battle for the podium. Reid's just trickling through pit lane now. And there is Callison coming out of the final corner. It is on. I wonder if Reid knows that. The gap has extended between Cotter and Scicluna, so that little mistake that Cotter made, he has responded. Still driving with the tail end out. Keep an eye on that gap between Callison and Reid as we get down to the final few laps of this race. Matt Cotter still leading. 7 seconds between himself and Daniel Scicluna. For Cotter, I wonder if it's in the back of his head. Thinking back to that last round, last season. Oh, he runs in deep again. We also have a battle brewing between Marshall and Ferguson. Here we go. Thanks for pointing that out, Munro. Sorry you had a bit of a shocker tonight. Was it your internet again, or did you blow the engine up or something? Hey, oh, Marsden has been... What's happened to Marsden? So, Marsden now mobile again. Oh, Marsden's found the fence at turn 8. Oh, you're joking. So, Marsden. Bit of late race heartbreak, and I think this might be a DNF for Marsden. His teammate will take over 5th. Oh, there we go, explanation there from Chris Munro. He wasn't going to race, but managed to get them to bed. Yeah, it's going to get harder to go racing when you have kids and as they get older. Great to see that you made an attempt anyway. This battle between Marshall and Ferguson. This is going to entertain us for the rest of the night. Although Cycluna's managed to get that. He's managed to get the gap down to under 5 seconds with only 3 laps to go. Only 5/10, mate. I'm told it's a second per kid. That's why I don't have kids. Oh, Marshall backing it into the hairpin. Go-kart style. He's pushing for this top 5. Oh no, Callison has been... Oh, you're joking. We were talking about how well Callison was going and she's gone and put it in the fence. I wish you people would stop doing that, just quietly. When I'm talking good about you, stop binning it, okay? You're making everyone think that I curse everyone. I mean, I do curse everyone, but... I'd like for you to not crash when I'm talking you up. It'd be really good. So we're getting into the business end of this race. Just 2 more circuits for Matt Cotter and he will... Oh, actually, should I say that? Because it's 4.5 seconds between himself and Cycluna. And it's never over until the checkered flag has dropped. I think we all remember back to the final race of last season. Matt Cotter blowing up the engine with 2 corners left. Currently focusing on the battle for 5th place. Marshall and Ferguson, nose to tail. Again, well, both Ferguson and Marshall getting squirrely on the entry. I know I curse you, Taylor. I know I curse you. Oh, Marshall finds the fence at turn 8. Mark another one. These guys are the last 2 on the lead lap. Fortunately, it's been a high attrition rate for tonight's racing. Started with 16 and we've only got 9 finishing. Ooh, big slide for Marshall. Got to get the throttle blipping just right when you're on the downshifts. That has allowed Ferguson just to pull away a little bit. We're going to have to pull away as we watch our race leader head up towards turn 8. For the final time. It's been a very, very good drive for Matt Cotter. Just needs to get through the next corner. I think he is safe here. I think he's safe. He could blow it up here and just cruise across the line. Heads around the final corner. It is Matt Cotter, the winner of the season finale for season 1. Well done to Matt Cotter. And if you don't think he's happy, I'd like to know what stream you're watching. James Cicluna home in second. Reed will come across the line in third, barring any mistakes. We're going to rejoin this battle. Actually, these guys were a lap down. Ferguson goes defensive. Marshall will go for the switchback. He's got the switchback. He's got overlap. Oh, they touch. They touch. But Ferguson manages to get the power down a little bit better. And Ferguson will hold on to fifth. Reed will come home in third place. And Callison, the last car in the lead lap. We're looking at Matt Cotter. I don't think he knows that he's won. Does he know that he's... yeah, he knows that he's won. He's just waiting for me to put him on stream. Here we go. Not quite the best burnout. He gets collected by Cicluna as we now start our celebratory burnouts. Surprised he didn't do it at turn 8. That has been a nightmare corner for a lot of people. There we go. Okay, let's head back to pits and we'll wrap up the final finishing positions of our drivers tonight. So Matt Cotter, your winner, ahead of Cicluna and Reed. Then we have Callison and Ferguson rounding out the top 5. Ferguson Marshall having a great battle at the end of that race. Then we have Marsden and Taylor in 7th and 8th, and Betts rounding out the last of our finishers. Then we had Grant, Hughes, Scowen, Simmons, McFarlane, Munro, Craig, all in a world of pain. The Adelaide track just absolutely cursing driver after driver after driver. It has been a tough night for a lot of our drivers, and hopefully they will come back next season a little bit stronger and a little bit more confident to go racing once again. Adelaide needs a nuke. So does Melbourne, but we don't talk about that. Right, well, let's talk about what we've got coming up on the channel. Because we will be back with AK Racing V8 Supercars, if I'm not mistaken, on the 9th and 10th of next month for the Bathurst 1000 event. And that is going to be pretty cool. And if you want to get involved in that, there is a Discord link right there. But otherwise, the second season of 2022 will start on the 24th of the 7th at Pukekohe Raceway. Then we move to Townsville, then the Bend, Calder Park, Gold Coast, Oran Park, Newcastle, Bathurst Super Sprint, Donington International, and then Sydney Motorsport Park under lights. Before any of that, we'll be back live on Tuesday night for the second round of Shakedown Sim Racing on Assetto Corsa Competizione, round 2 at Zandvoort. Yeah, thought that Imola was a great night of racing. Zandvoort with 32 cars on track is going to be ballistic. I can't wait for that one. Then we will be back next Friday night with GT Club's IndyCar Championship. A few drivers that we've seen tonight will be racing in that one as well. So make sure you hit the follow button and notification bell so you know when we're going racing, well, when we're bringing you racing again. Then after that, next Sunday night, something a little bit different. We got the Stadium Trucks, once again with the Aussie Motorsport League. Round 2 at Long Beach. That's going to be brutal, I think. That's going to be really brutal. So, yeah, again, I got a fair bit happening on the channel. Otherwise, we're going to have a little break from the supercars, and then we will be back very, very soon. But, yeah, guess we'll better wrap this stream up here. I think that's as good a time as any. Thank you to everyone for joining the stream. It's fortunately we had a bit of a depleted field tonight, but we will be back with a much stronger. Oh wait, there we go. With a much stronger field for next season, and yeah, we'll have to bring you a little bit more action. But Tuesday night we'll have Shakedown Sim Racing again, hopefully with same massive fields that we had at the first round. But anyway, yeah, we will we'll catch you next time. Until then, take it easy, look after yourselves, stay safe, and yeah, see you later.